everyone, this is Paul. Welcome back to my channel, The Peculiar Paladin. And today I wanted to make a top 5 video in my channel, and this is going to be my first top 5 video. And in this top 5, I'm going to talk to you guys about my favorite TV shows of all time. This obviously doesn't concern the ratings of the show, doesn't concern the viewership of the show, and actually doesn't concern about the amount and value of the fandom that it has. Instead, I'm just going to talk about why this is my favorite. Some might be like some reasons might be like that's the first show that I saw, and some might be like I just fell in love with the entire lore of the show and different things. Again, this is obviously all my choice, and this video is not about debate. It's not like you don't have to disagree with me, because it's not a opinion. It's like I'm saying like this is a top 5 TV shows of all time. It's like my favorite TV shows, and instead of making this a debate, we can make this a discussion. So you can tell me your favorite TV shows, and then we can have a talk about that. What's your favorite, and why is it your favorite show, and why these are my favorite shows? So we can have a conversation like adults. So that's, let's just get that out of the way. So I wanted to make this a bigger one, like a top 10 thing, including sitcoms and everything, but I don't want to include sitcoms to be honest with you, because there's like 5 sitcoms that I actually love, and if I make that, I cannot include TV shows as well. But today I'm going to talk about like your 40 to 50 minutes show with your big storyline and a big thing, instead of talking about sitcoms, which is like normally 20 minutes and it's all about comedic stunts and things. But I'll make a separate video for that, top 5 sitcoms that I actually love. Today I'm going to talk about top 5 shows that I actually love, and these shows will represent the best of that the fictional world, the lores, and whatever idea they tried to execute would have been executed perfectly, and that's why I love about them. So without much further ado, let's just get into the video, guys. Number 5 is Doctor Who. Nothing much should be said here. This is one of the greatest shows that has been existing for 50 years, and 4 years, like they celebrated 50 years like 2013, so 54 years of TV. It's like more than a show. It's actually like a product, and its business value is really high, because no one can exist in for 50 years, to be honest with you, and this show has existed, and people still love this show like crazy, and I'm one of the Uvians myself, because it's not about the success of the show doesn't goes to like one writer, doesn't go to one actor. It's all about different writers, different directors, different actors. It's just diversity all and all out, and there's even a new protagonist that's going to be a female one, which is new to the show, and it just shows that the show has something to give for the world, and paving a new path. And story wise, it's highly science fictional. There are like different villains that will terrify you to the core, like your weeping angels, silence, then intelligent enemies like Daleks, Cyberman, and everything. So you gotta watch the show from not as an adult or not as a child. You should stand in between them, and you should watch the show. And the perspective of the show changes as per the companions changes, and as per the doctor changes. So the writing will also change because of the writers. That will always keep the show fresh. So if you watch season 1, if you watch the older versions of the Doctor Who series, or if you watch the new ones, it doesn't matter. You always find something new in the show, in terms of lore, in terms of story, in terms of companions, and even in terms of doctors. So my favorite doctor is David Tennant. Obviously, he's so phenomenal as an actor, and I just love him. Alonzi, his favorite quote. And let me know who's your favorite doctor. And my favorite episode is actually the one where they will introduce the Weeping Angels in 3rd season, I would say. So tell me what's your favorite episode as well. So let's have a conversation in the comment section there. Number 4 is House of Cards. And this show is like new to the era, like 2013 release. It actually showcased how American politics works. They don't actually care about people, they just care about their standpoint, and how the power situation changes, and it would be all been showcased if it all been if it been not on Kevin Spacey, the show would have been a colossal failure. To be honest with you, the writing was intense and dark, and it was like a bunch of things compressed into one. And there's only like few actors that can actually free themselves in this compressing thing, and they can show themselves as a better person. And that would be Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright as Claire Underwood. So if these pairs didn't do the wasn't given the job to play the roles, the show would have gone downhill in the first season itself, and it didn't. So 5 seasons of House of Cards, and it's amazingly going. It might have been like a little bit boring when it comes to like third season or when it went to fifth season, but it's on Netflix and you can stream the entire season at a single go. The entire episode, the entire season will be released, so you can watch House of Cards and you can make sure that you love it, because you can just watch a couple of episodes and then you can just stop. But don't do that. Just watch the entire 13 episodes and then you will find out how lovely the show is. There are like a lot of favorite moments in the episode, in the season itself, and my favorite actor in this one is obviously like Kevin Spacey himself, portraying the role of a protagonist as well as an antagonist at the same time. So you gotta find out how that works and how he controls the political parties and how he controls how he just showcase his power as a whip will be amazing. And my favorite episode is the pilot of the show where he will you will just be introduced to Kevin Spacey. Don't screw with him. What happens when you screw with him? What he does, who he is, and how he behaves, and how he reacts. And they would break the fourth wall in this one by talking directly to the camera. So you will see Kevin Spacey pretty much all the time would be talking to the camera throughout this show, and which is cool factor because it's just cool. Number 3, Game of Thrones. I don't I've been like, if you have been in my channel for a while now, I've been making Game of Thrones video like crazy, so you know how much I love the show, and yet it's on my top 3, in top 5 it's 3, so you know how much I love the other 2 shows that is being coming out in number 2 and number 1. So as you can see there, even Drogon is there behind me, firing at the scorpion but that shot him. So Game of Thrones is not about the dragons, it's not about the White Walkers, Dothraki, Unsullied. It's not just about the 6th and 7th season where the intensive fight begins. It's about the first 2 seasons where the political drama that literally drove the show forward. And it's about how he acts, how he reacts, what's the secret, what does she hold. The fan theories kind of like started from that point. Obviously there are like a lot of theories that can be anyone can come up with in this show and in the 6th season or 7th season, but if you really think about it, the first 2 seasons were so pivotal in the show, and I just love Game of Thrones when it comes to the political backgrounds. So that's why I actually love House of Cards as well. It's like modern day Game of Thrones where it's just one actor like portraying like Varys, Littlefinger and stuff like that. But in this way they kind of divided the entire group and then they can showcase like every one of them. So you gotta watch the show. It actually pays off, guys. The show pays off. If you spend like 5 seasons in watching the political backlashes, political movements, the trickery and this, that, betrayals and killings, and you will be wondering when it starts to pay off. And 6th season, it's when it starts to pay off. Just wait till then. Don't give up on the show because it's intense, it's dark, it's huge amount of values there. And if you just give up on like 3rd season, well, you won't give up on 3rd season because that's one of the best seasons in Game of Thrones. I'm just saying, like, if you give up on 4th season, you don't get to see awesome fight sequences, awesome war sequences, and White Walkers destroying everyone's soul. So please hold on to your hats and watch the show, and it will pay off in the 7th season. So that's that. Number 2 is Castle. Well, this is a simple one, and I'm not going to overcomplicate it by talking about it too much. This is the first show that I have ever seen in other language, and English specifically, and it was like I don't actually normally watch TV, and my cousins made me watch Castle the first time, and I really fell in love with it. So here in India, Castle released on Tuesdays. when there is on America on Monday. So every Tuesday when I come back from college, the first thing that I do is watch Castle, because that's just a routine in my life. The both characters were a routine in my life, Kate Beckett and Richard Castle. So I absolutely adore them as a couple, and the show is simple form as possible. Just you get a case, you get a bunch of suspects, you interrogate them, there's some twists and turns there, and you will finally be revealed to the killer, and you will catch that killer. So that's simple, and there will be obviously an overwhelming story that will happen to the protagonists themselves, and they will act on it, and they will react to it. So pretty much everything is fine, but ending in eighth season was a little bit sad for me, because I expected more from the show, and they kind of like bored it down on the last season. I don't know why people say they hated the eighth season, but I did love the eighth season, and I wanted more of it instead of just the castle ending. And I didn't really like the ending. I was hoping for a ninth season. I was just waiting on my edge of my seat, hoping the actors would sign the contract and then they just act, but it didn't happen, and I'm really sad that it ended, guys. To be honest with you, I'm really sad about that. But yeah, it is what it is, man. Castle is an amazing show, so please do watch it if you have the time. And from first season to eighth season, you will never get bored. You will never, go out of happiness watching this one. It's an amazing show, guys. And number one, person of interest. Well, I'm a big Nolan fan, so no other show is gonna take the mantle from a person of interest away from that. Obviously, there's Westworld, but I cannot explain Westworld to you right now because it's a big show with an amazing concept, and it's just like one season. So you have to wait a long time for the second season as well. So person of interest is there, and it also got over by your so soon, before it actually reaches the sixth season or seventh season. They kind of shut it down prematurely, and fans didn't like that, and I didn't like that because I wanted to see a sixth season. But five seasons are there right now, and you can actually see the show, like binge watch it, because it's over right now, so you don't have to wait for new episodes to come out, and you can just sit on it 2 weekends long or 3 weekends. You can just pretty much watch the entire episodes. It's amazing, guys. It's about an artificial intelligence that was created by an intelligent man himself, that would be used to like spy on people. But there will be like a problem because it will see every crime that is possible there. But he will teach it to distinguish between two things, like relevant list and the irrelevant list. The relevant list will be the terrorists, the mega mass murders that should be prevented by the government themselves. And the number two will be irrelevant list, that will be the normal local crime beat that will be given to him. He will build a back door and he will collect the irrelevant list, and he will use another guy, and they will team up to solve all these cases beforehand. He will be like the brain, and he will be the leg man of the brains. So it will actually work out in the show. And as they go on, there will be another artificial intelligence that will be trying to be created. There will be a lot more characters that will join their cast, and there will be villains, there will be evil organizations, the whole nine yards. So if you watch this show, I'm 100% telling you right now, you will not be bored. At never a single point the show will be like, you'll be thinking, no. And that's kudos to Jonathan Nolan, because he would have written the show to a point where even if he doesn't actively participate in the show and actively participate in the writings, the show will go on the right path, with well-funded writers. And just, it's an amazing show, guys. Just give it a chance. And yeah, these are my five favorite shows of all time. And there's like a lot of things that can be added to this list, but I will make a separate one where I will talk about the top 5 shows that actually made it came close to making this list, but they didn't eventually. I'll talk about that in the next week, and I'll also talk about the top 5 sitcoms that are there and what are my favorites. So what are your favorites shows, your favorite episodes, your favorite actors in those episodes or in that show, writers, directors, whatever it is? Just let me know in the comments down below, guys. Let's have a conversation there. If not, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. and Reddit, we will have a conversation there as well. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hit that like button if you like this video. It really helps me out a lot. Share the video with your friends and family. Subscribe to the channel for everything. This movies, TV shows, reactions, trailer reactions, reviews, and theories, and top 5, top 10s like this one, where I just sit here and talk about my favorite things there are. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.